Welcome back to another reading and correcting with me, Kindar, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I read a chapter from one of my stories and correct it as I go. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. And if you're looking to support me, that is on my Patreon. Today we are doing chapter 10 of Feeling the Way. I avoided the worst of my breakdown by partying for 3 days straight. I reached the border at Detroit. Sorry, Port Huron, you're the more direct route, but you're not exactly a party city. In over 2 hours, while staying on secondary highways. I left a lot of local sheriffs perplexed. A motorcycle could drive this fast in winter. The crossing was uneventful. I swiped my phone, the gate opened, and I was back in the US. Quebec is the only place where crossing is mostly handled by people. Then it was a check-in at the Shinola. I got the penthouse because that was all that was available. There was some sort of convention in town, and I was out to the first club I could find. I didn't care about the name or if it was a gay club. I just wanted loud music, a lot of bodies, and dancing. It was 3 days spent with people, dancing, eating, drinking, drugs. The last two mainly dumb. I had a strong version of Arnold's. I had a strong. You know what? I have. This is commentary. I have a strong version of Arnold's gift, so alcohol and drugs do little for me. It's why I'm not on medication for my depression. It could take it away. He could take it away, but the other benefits are too useful. I heal faster, am tougher, and stronger. Somewhere in there, I did lose it. I remembered. I remember the Corker Spaniel holding me as I bawled my eyes out. You know what? I remember a Cocker Spaniel holding me as I bawled my eyes out. Soothing word he might have taught me, or it could have been someone else. Those 3 days were a blur. Then I was functional. Flint has had it rough. I may have mentioned history isn't my strong suit, but everyone knows about Flint, and within the magical circles, we even know who's responsible for making it the jewel of a city it is now. We don't know because it was advertised, but because we know how factions operate. My time frame might be wrong. As I said, I'm not a history guy. Blame my history teacher during my last 2 years. Great speaker, amazing smiles, wit so sharp you could slice butter with it. I was in his office a few times a week, and we made a mess of it each time. Somewhere at the end of the 21st century, somewhere at the end of 20th century, early 21st, Flint, Michigan was abandoned by the people in charge of maintaining it. Corruption, failed infrastructure, failed businesses, ignored by the state or the country. Big things I remember, the tainted water thing, the crash of General Motor. That had a wide impact, but when Ford bought them, Flint didn't get any of the new plants. The city mayor going to prison for misappropriating funds. Until the 30s, Flint was not a place anyone wanted to live in, but those trapped there couldn't afford to go anywhere else. Then, as if by magic, things began improving. Corrupt politicians stopped running for offices. Those already there retired for family reasons. People who 5 minutes before the election were at the bottom of the polls won. There were so many of those, there was an investigation in the voting machines, but no expert found anything wrong with them. People who know about us now know that any time something happens as if by magic, it usually means magic was involved. It's easy to find out who did it. You ask the people who benefited and they'll tell you. If they don't know, it's probably the 10 Knives. Back when this started, the Great Church was still in power. Secret Christian group who stamped out anyone who they felt was becoming too powerful while wielding blood magic in secret. I am proud to say my family played a part in taking them down. Not as much as my dad's wished we had, but one of my dad is directly responsible for keeping a god from wiping us out. So there you go. So back then, knowing who did what was tougher because just about anyone hid what they did. My family was one of the rare who rubbed our power in the church's face by semi openly ruling the San Francisco metropolis. It was San Francisco Bay back then. We know is the Ten Knives because no one else has taken credit for it. The Ten Knives follow Nandokura, the god of subtlety and obfuscation. Unless you're in a direct confrontation with them, you'll never know they were there. They blend in, vanish in the crowd, the background. I suspect they are behind the hiker group inconsequential because that would be just like them to name one of the largest social change movement inconsequential. Anyway, since the 30s, things have been improving. Good men and women have found themselves in a position of power, used the money provided by the government and private donation to fix up Flint, rebuild the city. Now, the crime rate is back to the country's average. Unemployment is a point or two lower. Median income, half a point higher. The streets are clean and well maintained. The storefront inviting, and the people there so friendly, it's borderline scary. One problem for my situation is that I had no idea how to make contact with the Ten Knives. As I said, subtlety is their thing. You could sit in their enclave and never know it. There are a few places you can go to increase their odds, but even then, it's not certain. Magic Shop are one such place. Many stage magicians are followers of Nando Kuka. Sleight of hand is right up his alley, if not the magic magician himself, one of his or her technician. But usually it'll be the magician. There's something about flaunting who they are while hiding it, sounding very much like a thing the knives do. So I did a search for Magic Shop, making a thing of having big name stage magician as their customers, and found two, Alakazam and Hogswart. The second one took me a bit to work out until I saw the wand and lightning bolt as part of their logo. It had to date back from when those books were still big. I go to Wart because they had a picture of the owner and Copperfield in their website. The Copperfields are known Ten Knives, I swear. They've never said anything about it, but you don't get generation after generation of successful stage magician without real magic. Stories go, they trace back their family to Harry Houdini, who I went to Francis Copperfield's show in Vegas a few years ago, and it's got to be real magic because I didn't find any trapdoors or projector or anything out of the ordinary on that stage after the show was over. Wart's a cozy little store with the kind of magic tricks on display you'd give a kid to get him interested or get him out of your fur. The owner is a gibbon with fur so white she has to be in her hundreds. Welcome to Hogswart, she says, her voice shaking. Are you looking for something in particular? You wouldn't happen to be part of the Ten Knives, would you? I can be subtle, I swear. Is that some online magicians group? I'm afraid I predate all that technology. She smiles. She seems truthful, which means shits in this case. If there's one group who can fool my empathy, it's got to be the Knives. I sigh. You wouldn't tell me if you were, would you? Young man, if I knew, I would happily tell you. She had the most disarming smile. I smiled back and took the deck of cards out of my pocket. Now that I can help you with. She hobbled out from behind the counter. What level of magician are you? I'm society, I say, and get no reaction. You young people and your new rating system. What kind of deck are you looking for? She motions to a display filled with decks of cards. Deck of cards. We have all of them. The strippers, Bengali, Invisible, Trump. I even have a few variety of the market deck if you're looking to cheat at poker. That's the one you want. Okay, actually. Market decks. That ends a phrase. If you're looking to cheat at poker, that's the one you want. I picked one whose buck matched the one I had and paid. Outside, I had to make a decision. Had it all been an act on her part, and now I just had to wait until one of them made contact, or did I cover all my bases and visit the other store? Alakazam was more upscale, large, well lit, with shelves displaying tricks and clerks explaining how to perform them to small groups of customers. Something felt wrong about displaying magic, even fake magic, so openly. We might not be under the heel of the church and no longer officially secret, but most of us were raised by men who had to be careful about showing what they could do, and while my fathers never were, I've been around enough other men who are wary of doing magic openly. I picked up some of it. Welcome to Alakazam, the treasure vault of magic, a young looking mole greeted me, offering his hand. I'm Steve, how can I dazzle you? I shook at it. I shook his hand and let him lead me deeper into the store. He pressed against me as we squeezed around a group of customers. I felt his hand reach inside my jacket pocket where I kept my phone. I had his hand in mine, gently pulling it away. Unlike a lot of people, I'm keenly aware of my phone. Not only because it's my lifeline to my family, but because it contains a lot of apps and information that would get me in trouble if it fell into wrong hands. Don't. I say, not putting any threat in my voice. Sorry, man. It's just part of the experience. Dazzle you with sleight of hand. You have quick hands yourself. I take it you do magic? You can say that. I'll let, I'll let him go. Then you're probably interested in our more advanced product. Do you have anything used by Nandokuka? He frowned. I don't know that one. Do they have branded products? If they do, I can check the catalog. He pulled out his phone. It's okay. What do you have involving knives? 10 of them. I told him I could be subtle. Tricks with 10 knives. We have trick knives. Is that what you want? What you mean? I don't know that we have bundles. Gideon! He called to a Palomino horse carrying boxes. Do we have bundles of trick knives? He wants 10 of them. Knives are on the back wall, next to the crystal balls. The horse answered without slowing. I know where they are. I need to know. The mole shook his head in annoyance. Wait, mole? Mole? Oh, yep, yep. It was a mole. It is a mole. Okay. I know where they are. I need to know. The mole shook his head in annoyance. Sorry, I don't think we have bundles. I can make you one if you want, but it's going to have to be different with different knives. I don't think we have 10 of any one knives. There isn't a lot of demand for trick knives. It's okay. Thanks for the assistance. I walk out and try to figure out what my next step should be. One detail that occurred to me after the fact was that I was taking a huge risk. The kid in the store tried to pick my pocket. He was clumsy at it, and I'm attentive enough that I don't usually worry about anyone getting close. And I'm attentive enough that I don't worry about anyone getting close and managing it. But this is Ten Knives country territory, the master of subtlety. I don't pay attention to the stories of them being all crooks and thieves. Growing up Growing up under the shadow of my family's history makes me cautious about listening to others' stories. Even if they were like that at one time, that doesn't mean it's who they are now. I retreated to my hotel room to do some work. I added a phrase to the back of my phone using one of my pens. This was a temporary measure. For something permanent, I'd have to work with a different kind of ink and not do it outside the phone, since even adding another phrase to make it harder for the ink to rub off, it would in time. I'd have to get a case for it, write it on the inside of the case, or better yet, contact Aiden and find out why it is that this wasn't done when we were given our phone. He could finally make an Arnold proof phone that way. I'd have to do something anyway. My phone was my lifeline to my family, my friends, my bike. Without it, I was well and thoroughly fucked. The phrase was something simple to make it tougher to grab my phone unless they were me. For practical intent, it was as if it had a coating of frictionless powder. Unless they used strong magic, their fingers would simply slide over it. I did the same with the deck of cards, but not on the box itself. Stories about the box a knife carried this kanji in were numerous as numerous as those about all the terrible thing my family's ever did over the centuries. And that they be true or not, I was not desecrating something of value like this, even if for all I could tell, this one was a plain cardboard box. I used the box of the deck of cards I bought and slipped the knife's box in. I used the box. Okay, I used the. You know what? I used the box I bought and slipped the knives. Then the knives box in it. I had to tape the edge to keep the box from falling apart since they were the same size and not meant to fit into one another. It didn't have to be pretty. Just hold the writing so no knife could steal it. I wanted a face-to-face meeting. Then I went about passing the time until I either came up with a way to make contact with them or they made contact with me. And this concludes chapter 10 of Feeling the Way. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter will be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to read the rest of the story, it's on my Patreon, where you can also get access to everything, just about everything else I've written. And if you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. The links are in the notes. And with that, I shall wish you a good day.